Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike Plays RP1 Redux. Last episode we finally flew the V2/U2000 combination to try and achieve the 3,000 kilometer downrange milestone contract, and we did it twice. And we failed both times. The first time because of an engine failure. That's the kind of stuff that just is going to happen. The second time because I came just like a dozen kilometers or so short of the mark because I was cutting my margins too fine. So what we're going to do this episode right off the bat, we're going to get back in there. We're going to improve the rocket. I have the ability to improve that rocket, make it something that's going to work. Also, just while we look here, right now you can see my staff thing, it's yellow because some engineers are idle because I have nothing being built in my launch complex at all. So we're going to rectify that very, very soon. But also I just want to very quickly draw attention to the fact that early material science is only, like, it's very close to being done here, less than a month away. And that one is going to get me aluminum or stringer tanks, so much even lighter tanks than what we've had before. So better technology coming our way, but sorry, we're going to go right into the VAB because we got some fixing to do. So we're going to grab, we can get rid of our contract. There's no reason for us to look at that. We're going to grab, actually I'm going to start by grabbing the V2 No.2. That's what we're going to start with. So this is what forms the main booster for our rocket. It is with the A9, the A4 engine, but with the A9 upgrade. So it does have the upgraded engine. That is, I am almost for sure, but it doesn't hurt to check. Yes, the best upgrade I can get for that particular engine. But I am still working under the old steel tanks that the old V2 used to have. I can go up to aluminum as well. The burn time, the rated burn time for the A9 engine is quite a bit better than it is for the old A4 engine. So I could actually put in more fuel as well as going to aluminum. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this guy as the number 2B, and we're going to go to, save it right now, aluminum tanks right off the bat. Very simple to do. And then we're going to stick that underneath our U2000, and we're going to hopefully smash that 3,000 kilometer downrange contracts. Not going to be cutting it fine like we have been doing. So what do we got? We want to go right here from steel to aluminum. It's easy to miss, but you can turn up the utilization. I think that's just a simple fact that aluminum is going to be thinner than steel, and so you got more room in there to put in more fuel. And that should be it, actually. Oh, I do still have to fill the tank, so fill it up for the A9. And there we go. Let's take a look at our Delta V stats for this guy, because I'm going to have to retool this tank anyway. I might as well increase the size of the thing as it is. So right now, according to this, I have 1 minute and 45 seconds of burn time. And if I go down here and middle click on that engine, right now I have 544 seconds. That for the mean time between failure. Let's just actually look at the engine GUI. Mean time between failures increases. That's the MTBF that you see there. 544 seconds, whatever the heck that is in minutes and stuff. But let's just look here. We have a rated burn time of 15 seconds. But I'm thinking, or 115 seconds. I'm thinking of really, let's push it to the rated burn time, or the mean time between failures of 500. And look at that, like when it's at maximum reliability, it's up to 32 minutes for mean time between failures. I mean, this engine can burn forever. But let's push it up to 544 seconds. Now, what is that in real life? I can't have my calculator. Okay, yep. And sorry, what did I say? 544. 544 divided by 60 is 9. Okay, you know what? That's over 9 minutes. Oh my gosh, I can make this thing monstrous. Okay, so I don't want to make it that monstrous because I do have a sea level thrust to weight ratio of 1.68. I think that is really going to be my limiting factor as opposed to just how much fuel I can squeeze on board. But what I am going to do is I am going to increase the length of this thing. So we're going to grab this. And I really want to watch this sea level thrust to weight, right? Because this thing will not only... Ooh, okay, let's play around a little bit. Because this is without a payload right now. Let's see what we get, We just gotta go up the length. Up the length, there we go. So, boom. And boom. Okay, 1.66, 1.65, 1 point... Yeah, I want to get it... I mean, I don't want to get below 1.3-ish. But I know I am going to be putting on about another... It's less than a ton that goes on to... oh, no. Yeah, it is less than a ton. Pretty sure. About a ton that goes on to it. Let's try 1.45 just temporarily. Do some experiments. Not tooling this tank just yet. We're going to save this. Then what we're going to do is grab... Let's make this the root part, the nose cone. We want everything from the nose cone down. We're going to throw it into an action group. And I'm just going to call this V2 temp because I don't plan on keeping this. And we're going to say save. And then we're going to open up, don't save this, we're going to go to our V2/U2000 right there. This is the old one. And well, I could have kept the... Okay, we're going to take this off. We're going to grab our V2 temp. I now have actually two. I don't want two of those. So we'll keep that there. What does that do for me? First of all, the staging is completely kerfuffled. Completely kerfuffled. So we want that V2 motor on the bottom. There we go. The A4 on the bottom. And then the... How did that mess up the staging so badly? That goes next. And then we want our spin motors, which are at the top because they're activated through an action group. Then we want to stage that and the SRB. That is right. And then I think this makes sense now. And that's the decoupler right there. Okay, I think this makes sense. So what does this... This gives me a 1.34. Kind of like it. 1.34 sea level thrust to weight. I didn't pay attention to how much more I got with Delta V. But what I'm thinking about... Is it still the very top that's the root part? Yeah, it is. I'm thinking about... I could also put fairings in here. I took the fairings away just to sort of save weight. I figured... But I don't know if... I'll actually say I also got cheap. Let's try this without the fairings. I'm not sure if fairings will make this better or if fairings will make this worse. It'll certainly make it look better, but let's just go with what we got. So this is now the U2B/U2000. And we're going to give this a simulate. Yes, sirree. Yes, he's saying. I can't explain that pause. Alright, so here we are. I should be able... All these settings should still be the same as what they were before. They should be. We're going to run our downrange program, and we're going to see how this works. So run downrange, false, true. I realized last episode I was running the downrange program saying false, false, and there was no reason for that because the falses are the defaults. There we go. So, and we got our contract, of course. 3,000 kilometers downrange. There should be no science aboard this thing. No, I mean the telemetry, but you can't get rid of that, so we're stuck with that. Okay, we're off. It lifted off the pad without any issues whatsoever. And we'll see how this do, and hopefully we will majorly exceed the 3,000 kilometers. Succeed it with some significance. Can do a little bit of time warping here. Yeah, unfortunately I got no data for reliability because I don't have failures turned on. Okay. I do have bigger engines in the A9 down there, but that is going to involve building an entirely new rocket. I'd rather squeeze out what I can out of this. Alright. So we should be spinning up any time now. Oh, no! Okay. No. I know what happened. I know what happened there. To be honest, it went okay anyway without ever spinning up. That's kind of amazing, actually. Yeah. Amazing. It never... Oh, but I can... This thing's falling over, which I don't like. Okay. Without being spun up, it's not acting like a gyroscope, and you can see it's pitching over very slowly towards the horizon. I don't think I want that to happen. You know what, we'll let it run just in case. But I think what I ended up doing is I lost the smart part that was responsible for the spinning up. I think they all went. When I threw away the old bottom half of the V2, I think I lost those. So we'll have to get those back. But you can see this thing is completely unguided. I can't do anything about it. And you can see it just drifting towards the horizon. I don't know, maybe that's not a bad thing, to be honest. But it might also be kind of a random thing in the sense that, you know, I don't have control over it. Maybe if I let it go another time, it wouldn't do this. Wow. Sure is, like, look at this velocity. 5,300 meters per second. That's kind of amazing. It just ran out of fuel. Clearly didn't go as high as it did before, but now I'm wondering maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing what it just did. It feels like it's going a lot further. Oh, maybe I should just leave it. Okay, well, we're just past our apogee here, and we're at 2,000 kilometers downrange. You know what? My goodness, maybe this isn't so bad. What happened? We just did 3,000 kilometers downrange, and we're not even out of, like, we're still well above the near space line. My goodness, I might have stumbled onto something by accident here. Oh, it's not... wait. I was about to say, I wonder how far downrange we can, but I can't see it. But what I can do, I think I still have this. If I go to McJeb, and there is a flight recorder. Does this have... Yes, this is telling me how far downrange. Oh, I'm crossing the 140. I got a little spinny wheel. Hopefully it'll all be good. Yeah, we're fine. Not a crash. But the 140 here, or the flight recorder here, look at that, 3.6 megameters, which is 3,670, well, now 3,680. Like, comfortably. This thing's gonna blow up hard. Here comes the overheating. This isn't going to take long, but oh my goodness, 3,000. I thought I saw 3,750 kilometers in around there. Ooh, let's wow. I don't like the not spinning. I don't like that it's unguided and pitching over all on its own, but to be honest, if it works, right? Let's take off these spin motors. Now let's make sure there aren't... Yeah, the smart parts that dealt with this staging worked fine, but I had smart parts in here that dealt with, you know, when it got down to, I can't remember what it was, 10% fuel or something like that, it spun up the rocket. Actually, that might have been the only that might have been the only smart part that was down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this again. We're going to do one more simulation and just see if it behaves in the same way that it just did. And if it does behave in the same way that we just saw, I'm really thinking I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so let's simulate this. What are the... Sorry. I just want to look at... Cancel for a second. What do we got here for the failure chances? So 8.9% at full burn, current reliability, which isn't bad. Ignition chance 91%. I'm going to do one more simulation. And all I'm interested in is seeing whether it behaves in the same way that we just saw. That wasn't a fluke that it behaved so perfectly. That's it. McJeb is engaged. And we're going to go with, what did I do? I spelled downrange wrong. Not a disaster. Just transposed a couple of letters. There we are. Alright, we're going to try this one more time, and if it behaves in the same way as it just behaved, I'm honestly thinking of just pushing this out, no spinning up, and just kind of letting this thing ride, because I got to be honest, I was pretty happy with that outcome. I never had the guts not to spin it before. I'm trying to think if I ever tested a configuration like this without trying to spin stabilize that top stage. And I don't think I ever did. Maybe I'm onto something here. I always just naturally assumed you're going to need to spin stabilize this guy or else it's just not going to stay true. But might have actually stumbled onto something. I also got to renumber this. This is now the 2B, not the 2, down here on the decal. But clearly that's a trivial thing to change. Alright. And for those that are wondering why it's unguided, I mean, the aeronautics that powered this thing are all in this piece right here, and that piece is pretty freaking heavy. Like, it's I don't know if I can see it here, but whatever, we're about to lose it anyway. And putting that at the top of the rocket will just really reduce its range, so we lose all of that expensive avionics when this thing stages, but that seems to be the way to go. Okay, here we are, we're getting close. And off. Okay. So now we're on this guy. Again, staying pretty true. Again, pitching over just ever so lightly, just on its own. Probably just simply, it's a little top heavy. So we got, it's just slowly falling over. There is a little bit of atmosphere here. So, you know, it is going to want to... Well, no, it would actually... That would pull it the other way. So it's just it is actually literally a gravity turn. It's just gravity pulling this top part down. Now, what I'm noticing is we're getting awful close to the horizon this time. And there's no reason for it to stop, so it might go below the horizon. But again, now we're below the horizon. We're actually pitching down. Not exactly helping, but not exactly hurting. We're hitting our minimum altitude without any issues. I don't know. Maybe spin. You see, this is very different than last time, isn't it? Very different than last time. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think I'm going back to the spin stabilizing. This is just too much. Even if I get the 3,000 kilometers downrange, it's just too much different. Too much different from before. No, now we're nowhere near. See that? Look at we've just crossed our apogee and our downrange. Oh, just over 1507. It's going to be a lot tighter this time around. Going back into the atmosphere, what's our downrange say? Yeah, it's not doing it. Okay, all right, we're spinning you up. So revert back to the editor. I'm glad I didn't just trust that first go, that's for sure. So what we're going to do, we're going to save this. I can remember. You know what? No, let's bring up our old one. And we just have to do some recreating of it. So this is the V2 No.2 U2000. Load that. Yep. Okay. So it is missing the spin motors, and it should have a smart part, which I'm sure just buried in here. I saw it. Down we go. I see you. I see you. There's just the one. Not the procedural tank, the smart part. I just want to see what I got it set at. I have it set at 5%. And to trigger action group 1, which is the spin motor. So all I need to do, 5%. I can remember 5%. Let's bring up this one. Okay, we're going to put on those 6 spin motors again. Two, three, four, 6. Spin them sideways. I'm not sure if it's spinning the same way. I don't think that really matters. And those spin motors go up at the top, because what we do is we put them on action group 1. Activate engine. And then we need a smart part. And our smart part is the DrainX smart part. We put that on the tank. Only one of them. We set that to the resource is the fuel, the high dyne. There we go. Set that to 5%, and we trigger action group 1. And just because the smart part is very ugly, I'm gonna slide it in. Some people might be wondering too, like, oh, that also balances the mass too, but to be honest, I really don't think that's a big deal. Because it's so freaking light. Okay, that should be it. I am going to do one test though. We are going to do one test with this. Okay, we are going to also edit that. This is now the 2B. Okay. Oh, that's a lowercase b. Oh, it has to be an uppercase? Oh no, I put in an uppercase. No, I don't. Oh, it only has uppercase. Okay. I'm comfortable with that. That's fine. Kind of like that it's a little bit of a smaller B than the 2 I's, and then there's one on that side. Yep. So this is the 2B. 2B or not 2B. Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay. Yes. Doing the simulation. right, and we're going to engage you, and we're going to run our downrange program. And I did it again. Exactly the same mistake. Transposing the R and the N in downrange. Okie dokie. Hopefully this is the last one. And hopefully we will comfortably pass the 3,000 kilometer downrange distance. Still leaves, again, I talk about this the last 2 or 3 episodes, but this is the penultimate contract in the, I can give you this, the downrange rocket development program. There's one more after it to go 5,000 kilometers downrange. This rocket, I can't imagine would be capable of it, but I did do it before with much the same sort of a rocket, but with a, not an SRB, but actually I built one around the Veronique, a little third stage in there around the Veronique. That's what I did last time. Worked really well, so I'll probably stick to that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. One thing at a time. I'm also, a little later in this episode, once this is working, probably work on my Albert 1. That is my vessel to take an advanced organism. I like to imagine that there's a monkey in there to bring it up. All right, so we're gonna. I should spin up this time. We should be getting the old spin-up-a-roo thing. And then, should be happening pretty soon. It was at 5% fuel, so come on. Oh, I know, I think I might have forgotten something. Yes, I did forget something. Notice McJeb is correcting for the roll, so we got no roll. Ah, okay. Yes. I knew there was other things. These rockets are just freaking complicated. There's another thing. What ended up happening there was McJeb was in control. So as soon as it started to roll, it tried to bring the roll back. And it did that through the motor down here because this A9 engine is a gimbaled motor. But what I can do is if I go to an action group, like Action Group 2, I can... What is this? Okay, not Action Group. Oh no, back on Action Group 1. Yes, when we activate the spin motors, I can also... Let's get rid of that engine GUI. It's just in the way. Really? I can't get rid of you? Wow, okay. Why can I not... Okay, whatever. But I should have the ability to toggle the gimbal roll right there. So toggling the gimbal roll will toggle it to off, which means that McJeb, although it'll try to regain roll control, it won't be able to because it doesn't have gimbaling ability. So that's going to happen at the same time as these motors get spun up. I'm thinking now, closing in, hopefully. Engage the autopilot, run down range, not downrange, false and true. Okay. Okie doke. Here, let's get this up. And this. A little bit of time warping to try and get this over with a little quicker. And hopefully this is the one. So all of this stuff I'm missing is all stuff that was just associated with the old booster that when I threw it away, I forgot I had to add that stuff back on again. Kind of realized that the roll thing was never fixed just before it started spinning up. Okay, let's take the time warp off. This time, again, once we're down to 5% fuel, we should induce a roll. So there we go, and this time we shouldn't be correcting for it. Nope, it still keeps spinning, and there goes that. And then that. Excellent. Okay, so now we got a nice spin stabilized rocket, which means it's going to go higher in altitude this time because it's not going to fall over. It's going to maintain this current attitude, just like a spinning top will. I was getting suggestions as well in the comments, and this goes back before I think I stuck the SRB in there when I was developing this rocket, to on the spin motors, if you tilt them down just a little bit so they thrust down, like the thrust goes down so it's pushing the rocket forward when it spins, you can actually use them to induce ullage in this stage as well, rather than using an SRB, which is something to keep in mind. I might consider that when I put something like the Veronique in between. So I'll keep that in mind. I just don't think it's necessary here. You'll have to get the timing all right, because you have to have this rocket fire just as those spin motors are going up, and it could get interesting. Alright, so here we go. Still going. Apogee is rocketing up now because this thing is not pitching over. Over 900 kilometers and just cracked 5,000 meters per second, which the old one never did, so that's a bit encouraging. Oh wow, I'm over 1,000 kilometers on the Apogee, which never happened before. That's going to be a new altitude record. Oh, this has got to get the job done. You know, while I'm doing this, let's pull up McJeb and pull up that flight recorder again. For no other reason than there's lots of data you can get on this flight recorder, not surprisingly, but the only thing I care about is this downrange distance. It's still nice not to rely on this, because this, you know, it's the contract, whether it's correct or incorrect, that's going to determine whether it goes green or not. So this is really the important one. It's not important to know which one of these two are correct. It's more important to know this is the one that's making the decision whether the contract is being satisfied. So, you know, what is associated with the... You want to have the contract window open and following this. Don't trust this if you're doing this contract. Trust this, because this is going to be your arbitrator. All right, let's again time warp a bit. Get it up there. I do like cracking more altitude and speed records. Wow, we're over 1,100 kilometers. Okay, there goes the 1,000 kilometer speed record. And it may be more advantage to have the rocket pitching over more, now that I'm thinking about it, but we'll go with what we got. I'm just going to take this up to apogee. 854. It's really climbing very... Here we go. Very close to apogee now, and we're well over halfway on the downrange distance here, 1,945. One thing that just happened here, I should point this out, is the flight recorder has limited ability to store data. And you can see here there's an SCV file which is being saved somewhere on my computer, which is, if you want to do the full nut job analysis, shouldn't say nut job, but you want to do the full thing, the full Monty as it were, you can take a look at this CSV file, which is somewhere, and look at the data. But the problem is there's a limited amount of storage it will allow, and you can see I've reached the maximum storage. So it's actually no longer recording any data for me. that's what it is. Now, what you can do, I think, no, is it the, no, not that. This one, reset. Mark. There, if I push mark, it resets the number and keeps counting, but this count is not, oh, no, there's no way that's right. No, it's starting over at 0 again. So if you're paying careful attention and watching the storage, you can use this and then just add your numbers together. Right now, though, this is now useless to me. But I'm pretty comfortable we're going to be crossing 3,000 kilometers with this, so I might be calling this done. We are so high in the air. We are running out of batteries on this fella. Only about 2 minutes left. None of which matters. We don't care. Now, is it me or do you see a coastline there too? Is that possible? Is that possible? I don't think, man. Well, we're up pretty freaking high. Like, this is the coastline here. Am I? No, the coastline is in the dark. That's just the way the shadow. Yeah, I can see it all the way. That's just the way the. That's just the twilight that we're seeing. That's not land ahead of us. All right, where are we at? Okay, batteries just went dead. Again, doesn't matter. I just want to see this go to 3,000. There we go. Contract complete. Still way, way up, so. Groovy. Okay, we are done with this guy. All right, so this is going to be our attempt now. So the main difference is we've gone to an aluminum fuselage. It's a little bit longer. Now I'm noticing some grayness here. Ah, the mass has gone over the top. Poopity poop poop poop. So we do have to do a modification to our launch complex if this is going to work. The modification should be a minor one. Oh, estimated construction time is just 3 days. The cost, a modified cost is 1,260 Kerbal. So it's not bad. The question is, this is becoming more important now. If I did the modification, so if I modified it, well, I would have a minimum tonnage of 15. I want to look at, this is why I'm considering this. I want to take a look at my AlphaMensae. And this is what I was working on last episode. How does it fit into this? Okay, its minimum, its tonnage is 16. So that would fit within the range once I upgrade. I just want to make sure I don't end up modifying it only to modify it again. So actually, I'm going to write those numbers down. 16. This one's still got some tweaking to do, but this should be in the right ballpark as far as its dimensions go. It's 17.9 meters tall, and it's about 2.6 meters wide. 2.7 maybe. Okay, let's go back to the other one. So if I'm going to modify this, I want to modify it once. That's all I'm saying. Load that. So if we went and modified this, minimum tonnage would be 15. That's okay. The AlphaMensae is just over 16. Oh, there is no minimum heights. There's only maximum, so that's cool. Okay. So I can do the upgrade without doing any problems. What about the tooling? What's that going to set me back? So we'll go to here. We got to spend 4,493 Kerbal on the tooling. But I plan on using this V2 over and over and over again. So yeah, we're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to tool that. Purchase all toolings. We're going to modify our launch complex, which is only going to take a few days, but that's going to give our engineers a few days off. Everybody gets a bit of a holiday. So let's modify that. Okay. And we should be in our management thing, start to see all this stuff. So launch complex, 3 days, 20, well, just almost 4 days. That's not bad. Okay, still got lots of cash, so that's good, that's good. Can't push this into the building queue just yet for exactly the reason that I was just talking about. What we can do, yes, we can save this, and we can take our new booster here. Actually, no, the old V2 was perfect, wasn't it? So let's bring up, just want to make sure we have a V2. There's the old one there, the one that I was playing with. And this doesn't need any tooling. So this guy's all ready to go too. So I actually got 2 rockets for the price of 1. They have the same tank, right? Right. Okay, so let's get out of here. Okay. And we got a bunch of staff that are not working, but life is just going to be like that. Let's just go forward the few days to that launch complex. Okay, and oh, that's early materials science. Okay, so we're ready. Let's get back in here. I never added this to the plans, but I'll never... Oh, not this one, silly. What I should do, sorry, is add this V2 to the plans. This is V2. Oh, I see what I need to do. This is V2 number 2B. I just need to edit this. B. Okay. Save that. Add that one to the plans, because this is going to be a rocket we'll use probably for a number of different things. And we got to bring up V2B U2. Too many similar names. This is the one we were just working on, and we have to now this fits within the launch complex, so launch, which actually just adds it to the building queue. And oh, we're into January when this fella's gonna get done. So that's okay. So what I want to do next, we'll save that. Let's bring up our Albert 1. So this is the Albert 1, and its contract, let's get out of here. Go into mission control. Its contract is the first advanced biological suborbital experiment, and this is the capstone contract for suborbital rocket research program. So once we complete this contract, we can actually complete this program and move on to something else. Or if we like, we can continue to fiddle around with like things like low space film return. I'm not sure if it's worth my time, but I could. Probably not. I gotta get 600. No, let's not. Again, getting ahead of myself. What else is new? Okay. I think it's probably the better plan to go on. So bringing up that contract right here. So the contract requires you to have 200 units of sounding payload aboard. That I believe is right there. Correct? No, that's the avionics. This is my 200 units of sounding payload. It is 200 units right there. And we've got to get to a minimum altitude of 140 kilometers and then achieve a surface speed of 220 meters per second and return safely back to the surface. So what I want to do, and I tested this last episode and it was successful. That was very exciting. So what I want to do is kind of clean this up. Now, one thing that happened is it did run out of nitrogen. I was using the RCS too much. I'm not entirely liking this here. Because there's the size of this parachute. So what I'm thinking about, and this is again an aesthetic choice, is to increase the bottom of this just a little bit. Wow, that's obviously way too much. What did I do that for? Nothing's been tooled here. So I can get away with, and again, that's just for looks. I don't think that's, I think maybe it looks a little better. Of course, now I have more sounding payload, so I can actually bring the length of this down. Because I just increased the volume. And let's get in our tank UI and scroll down, and this should be 200. Update that. Okay. Does that look, I think it might look a little better. I think so. I don't think I changed the mass of anything too much. We'll test this again. So this is the old V2 No.2 with the A9 engine and the steel fuselage, and since it did it, I don't see a reason to go to the aluminum fuselage. In fact, as this has to re-enter, I don't want to actually be going too fast because I could easily, you know, kill something. I don't want to kill anything. So what we're going to do, open this up. Where is it? There it is. And I'm just going to see if we can clean up this ship a little bit, and then we'll test it again. So I needed more nitrogen. So we have a little tank down here at the bottom. This is a high pressure aluminum tank. We can add, right now it has 1.81 kiloliters of nitrogen in it. So what I'm going to do, actually no, remember I wasted a lot of nitrogen. Actually, I am going to increase the length. Let's increase the length just a little bit. Maybe to 125 millimeters. I'm just picking what I feel like is a nice number. But the other thing that happened with this guy is that it was still using, because the RCS is toggled with the, here, let me show you. Where's show actuation toggles? Well, okay, am I just mentally blind? That's, don't care about. The RCS block should have a show actuation toggles. Oh, under control. There it is. Show actuation toggles. So I have the forward controlled by the throttle, and the reason for that is because I need to provide the ullage so that this propellants will settle into the bottom of this tank to feed this motor that's down here on the bottom. Now, one thing I could do is I could take this forward by throttle off and just use H to propel forward, or I could maybe use a smart part. So if I go into here and look at my action groups and click on this and move all this crap out of the way, do I have, what can I do? Toggle RCS thrust. So that'll just turn the whole thing off. I don't think I want to do that, because I still want to have RCS for attitude control. I don't think I have the ability to just simply... No, the only thing I can do is just turn the RCS right off. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this off of throttle, and I'm going to use H. And then I should be able to let go of H. That should do it. Okay, so no smart parts, no nothing. Okay. And then we'll close this. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna just give this another go, another test. So we're gonna save that, and then we're gonna, if it works, we're gonna clean this all up. Simulate. I have no idea what I set this stuff to. According to this, I went -62, but I don't know if I trust that. Is that its own boot file? I have no idea. No, this is a different, this is the, no. We're going to have to make a boot file for this. Sorry. But let's get to here. It needs to get to an altitude of 140 kilometers at least. So I think what I did is I did like set this apogee to 160 maybe. Oh boy. I think we want Autostage off. I got to make a proper boot file for this. We'll do that in a second. Okay, let's try that. And I'm realizing I always forget to do this before we get started, but I never opened up Visual Studio Code, so I'll get that booted up and ready to go because we'll be needing it in just a little bit. But I think I'm ready to just do this, and I should be able to just run downrange. And this is wrong here, the true false. It's got the wrong boot file in it. It actually can be just downrange. It's got to be false, but that's the default. I should be able to just run downrange. This should work. He says with increasing or decreasing confidence. Okay, so that's clearly all wrong. Scrub the launch. Okay, let's revert to editor and figure this out, for goodness sakes. Okay, so number one, that's staging. Oh, we had that at the bottom. This, oh my gosh, what a mess. It's funny how you just change the silliest. Oh no, this thing was a mess from the get-go. I remember that now. Okay, so the A4 engine on the bottom, then the launch clamp, then we are going to stage manually, and we're going to deploy the fairing, release our rocket, and toggle on our RCS all at the same time. Then I'm going to be ready to fire that engine when I'm ready, and then that is all correct. Okay, let's pick a proper boot file for this. So we're going to get Visual Studio back in here. Okay, and there we go. There is Visual Studio. And what I'm looking at is making a new boot file for the Albert one. So I'm going to take, what is the one that's in there? What is the one that's in there? There is... Oh wait, again, this is where the avionics live. Keep used to having the avionics on the top, but they're right there. This is in a boot file called something, something, something. Oh dear, here it is. Oh, it doesn't have a boot file. Okay. What is it loading then? Is there a boot file in this? Oh, there we go. V2 film return. Okay, we're going to close. That is not going to have a boot file in it at all, because we want to control everything from this fella. Okay, so let's make a boot file. So let's take our old downrange one. Oh wait, boot file, silly Billy. V2 film return. Okay, we're gonna save this as, save as, and this is gonna be the Albert. Albert 1. There we go. That's the boot file we want. Okay, we want this set to, I think I said, I think I said 160 kilometers. We can then adjust this. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing because I didn't turn it off. So there we go. This is our new boot file. And the inclination will be the, whatever it's called, the default. Current, I think is what it's called. We just want you to go east, not do anything fancy. Engage McJeb, just run downrange without any modifiers. And that should be that. Save that. Close that. And over here now, I should have Now, this is something that confused me for the longest time. If I go through my boot files, there's no Albert. These are alphabetical. There's no Albert here. So what I need to do is go down to the KOS. At least this is what someone tells me to do. Hopefully this will work. Where's the KOS? Where are you? KOS, right over here. And there is a reread boot folder, so I should be able to just push that. Push it a couple times. And now I should have that boot folder available. There should be an Albert. Okay. So that doesn't do what I thought it would do. Okay, so we're going to save this. We're going to go new. Try reloading it. This is the U. Yes, load. Okay, back to here. Now do I have the boot file Albert 1? Okay, there it is. Then I truly don't understand then what this button does, but okay. Okay, we have the Albert 1 boot file. There should not be a boot file in that set of avionics that controls the lower booster. We have two sets of avionics in this one because I want to lose these really heavy avionics. That should be good. That should be good. That should be good. Staging should be good. Okay, here we go. Okay, so 620. Oh, I think I left it at -580. Let's just change that again real quick. Right here. 580 is what I had it at before. Let's not mess with what works. If I need to change it, I will. Save that. Close. It doesn't get reflected here just yet because it needs to be reloaded. So I need to just engage McJeb. Auto staging should be off. Yes. And we should be able to run downrange. All right. And bring that up. Okay, so here's the whole contract there. So this is the old V2 No.2. I have now 3 versions of the V2. I have the one with the steel tank and then the A4 engine. I have this one with the same steel tank and the A9 engine, and now I got one with the A9 engine and an aluminum tank that's a little bigger than this one. But just want to make sure all this is set up and making some sense. So what this program should do is it really should just run and then stop, and we're going to deal with all the staging automatically. We're going to do it manually, not automatically, the opposite of automatically. We're going to deal with all the staging manually. Oh, I should also use a smart part to, like, there is science to be collected from the biological sample 2. This guy here, our advanced biological sample thingy. That won't start happening, I'm assuming, until we get to 40 kilometers. Okay, we are pitching over hard. Wow, that is super hard, but I guess we'll just live with that. Okay, that is that. Now we're going to put on SAS. Oh, disengage autopilot. Put on SAS, stage, and RCS. Auto. Whoa. I didn't like the way that worked out. We still don't have... Ah, shite. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I can't turn off the... Ah, for frick's sakes. Are you messing with me here? Yes, you were messing with me there. What happened? There's our RCS. Okay. Maybe it might not be a bad idea to write a program that's going to deal with this for us, because I clearly just messed that all up. Okay, let's revert to the editor. So, opening up Visual Studio. I am running just the straight up downrange program. And I don't want to throw in too many parameters here. What does that Autostage do? I have launch functions. Autostage. I don't know if I want to Autostage. I think I might just actually write an entirely... I think I might write an Albert program that's not dependent on this. I think I'm going to write a whole program just for this rocket. So we're going to just save this as, and this is going to be Albert. Albert 1 there. I know I have a boot file called Albert 1, but it's a separate file. It's in a separate folder, so that's okay. And what we're going to do, we don't need these parameters. I'm going to do all of this countdown stuff. That's fine. Lock throttle to 1, that's fine. Wait 10 seconds, that's fine. Let's take all this out. I'd like it to simply wait until the thrust is gone. Let's go over to our launch functions here. I already have, I might write a whole new function for this. I think that's not a bad plan. So I'm going to write a new function here. And the purpose of this function is it's going to just simply not stage the rocket with loss of thrust, but end program if thrust lost. Loss of thrust. Okay, so this is going to be just... Function's going to be called loss thrust. Okay, I am going to put a parameter in there to say, do you have RCS? Its default is going to be false. Live programming, everyone. So what we're doing is we're waiting until the ship's thrust to weight is below the cutoff thrust to weight. Yeah, I guess I need that too. Cut. Whoops. I gotta match what was typed there before. Cut off. Here, just copy and paste it, for goodness sakes. And that's default is going to be 1. So if the ship's TWR, and that function ship TWR is below here, that's why I kind of want to write this here so I don't have to import stuff. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got a way better idea. Way better idea. This is way too complicated. I do have a ship TWR. If I change this to a global function, that makes it accessible outside of this program. And I'll move it up to here. It doesn't have to be moved, but I kind of have, these are the functions I like to use, and then this is what. So all I got to do here is say under the Albert 1 now is, not that Albert 1. This is where it gets confusing because I have two Albert 1s. This Albert 1 is... don't do any of this, is if ship TWR is less than 1, just flat out state that. Boink. What I want you to do is wait I simply want you to end the program. No, it's got to. Okay, what I need then is when. I think there's this when then structure. When ship TWR is less than 1, then I want you to wait. I think I'm making this wait. No, yeah, wait 4 seconds. Why not? 4 seconds. And then I want you to turn on RCS for me. No, I want you to stage. And then I want you to turn on RCS. I'm hoping this makes some sense. So it's going to be flying. This wait 10 seconds, don't worry about it. That's just something that happens after the countdown. And then it's going to sit here and wait until the ship TWR is less than 1. And then it's going to wait a further 4 seconds, so a little bit of delay after the engine runs out. Then it's going to stage, and then it's going to turn on RCS for me. And everything else I want you to leave alone. Maybe lock to prograde. How do you lock to prograde again? Okay, we'll do a little bit of a cut while I do a search. Okay, I'm back. After a little bit of Googling, I'm going to decide I'm going to have to do some things manually. Not that I don't think it's done. I want it to take off McJeb. So print, I'm going to do this in terms of print commands to me. Actually, no, I can do this just with quotes. For goodness sakes. There we go. Disengage McJeb. Is that how you spell disengage? Engage. Sure. Put a period at the end. Yeah. And you know what? The rest of it's going to be. I just realized as well there's a simpler thing for me to do here too. Wait another 2 seconds. Print. Program ending. This should be just simply a wait until. This is the easiest solution to this. Wait until do. Then I don't need this stuff. I don't need this. And this becomes just simpler. Boom. So it's going to wait here until the ship TWR is less than 1. Period. And then after that, it's going to wait 4 seconds. It's going to stage. It's going to turn on the RCS, and then it's going to print these messages for me and then end the program. Let's see how that works. Here we go. And I'm sure there are KOS veterans out there that are saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And it's just like, I'm not familiar enough with KOS commands just to have them at the tip of my tongue like that. So, and I'll only sort of Google for so long while I'm in the middle of doing recording before I'll just say, screw it, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to spend like 2 hours figuring stuff out. So that's going to be life. But if this works, then we'll just go with it. And if you want to leave comments as to try this line, try that line, I'm more than happy to incorporate them in. But of course, by the time I see them, it's going to be 2 episodes from now. So the utility of that, I'm not entirely too sure of. But I might continue to think about it in the interim and Maybe I'll come up with it by myself. But I thought there was a way to control McJeb from KOS in the sense that I could get, that's what I was looking for. Can I get KOS to disengage the autopilot? Rather than have to manually do it. I know I can get KOS to lock it to prograde. I just got too lazy to get that all right. That's easy. In fact, I'm sure I have code that does exactly that. I just had to dig through it and find it. But this hopefully should work. I just didn't like the way that rocket just kind of tumbled there. So it should now do the staging for me. Once we lose our thrust. You know what? I might bring this number back. I don't like this. This I don't like. This I don't like. Okay. And are you going to stage? You're not going to stage. Okay. Control C on this. Disengage that. Stage. T. Onto you. I got the wrong TR. See, that's going to be now a colossal waste of energy. A colossal waste of potential of that nitrogen that I have. Press this nitrogen. Okay. Man, what did I do the first time? It worked so well on the very first try. And of course now, look what's happening. So this wait until TWR is less than 1 just didn't seem to do anything. Didn't throw an error. It just never got there. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. What is in the... Sorry, I'm looking at my code again. Launch functions. Where was the auto stage? Just do this. Just auto stage, for goodness sakes. Why don't we just do that? Albert 1. Let's take off all this nonsense. And just say auto stage. So maybe that's all I need. Maybe I'm making this entirely too complicated. Oops. What am I doing? There. Okay. I want to increase... I don't like it pitching over as hard as it is at that end part. And I think if I increase... It's trying to bring up that periapsis. I don't want it to do that. Let's change this to 6200 and see if that works a little better. Okay, now engage, run downrange. So I'm hoping this time, as soon as this runs out of fuel, we have staging. Also, control from here, for goodness sakes. No, not from there. That's not a controllable part. Control from... Command. Control from here. I'm still controlling from the avionics down here. That's not what I want. We'll fix that in the VAB very shortly. Okay, let's little time warpy. Little time warpy. Should also make sure to make that on. Or maybe I can have McJeb do this date. I don't know. Oh, I'm running downrange. Oh, for goodness sakes. Revert back to the sim. Oh my gosh. You rockhead. I should be running Albert 1. What a bonehead, right? The Albert 1 boot file should say run Albert 1 when ready. Not downrange. That's why it was not working, you big McDougal head. Okay. Run. Engage this. Run Albert 1. That's why what I had there didn't work. I thought I had that all worked out, and oh my gosh. It was running still the old downrange program, of course. Okay, this time. This time, this time, this time, this time, this time. So what I should do... Now, let's not mess with the program while the program's actually running, but I should go back to what I had just a little bit ago. I don't know if I can do some control Zetting, maybe get that back. It's pitching over, but not as aggressively as it was just a little bit ago. I think that's better. So negative 6200 I think is a good number. Very good number. I like it. I like it. Okay. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. What the? No! T. Why is T not working? Disengage. T. R. Okay, just a second here. Jeepers creepers. I got my necessary altitude. Okay. Let's bring this back. So can I, if I go back to the Albert 1 here, do some control Zs? There. Let's try this again. Because I like the whole wait for a little bit. Save. And then on this one, you are running the Albert 1. I think this worked better on 6200. Oh, shoot. Not showing it to you. There we go. So what I just did is changed the boot file, but I also went back to this old version where it waits for the throttle and then waits 4 seconds to give me a chance to get my crap together. We'll see. I don't know. Restart. Okay. Oh, it still says down. Oh, I have to. Do I? Oh, I don't know. This is still the. Is it the different boot file that I have loaded in here? Whatever. Run. Engage that. Run Albert 1. I think I still got the old boot file in there. And we're going to take this. Sorry, this. And we're going to control from here. That's part of my issue too. We're going to turn on that biological sample. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is the one. I say that every time. This is the one. I know it. I know it. I know it. Okay, so this time there should be like a 4-second delay after this engine cuts. Okay, we got that. Now. Oh, that's this. Okay, okay, okay. TR. T. Oh, that whole tumbling business. All right, I got a whole new plan. Maybe wait till we're like over 100 kilometers. That's a better plan, isn't it? I think so. So don't disengage. There's no reason to rush. That is a better plan. So go back to here. Wait until altitude is greater than 100,000 meters. And that'll give me a chance to disengage the McJeb. In fact, here, I'm going to do this in stages. Wait until ship TWR is less than 1. That is going to be wait 4 seconds. Maybe wait 2 seconds. And then print this disengaging McJeb there. And then wait until we're at 100 kilometers in altitude, at which point we're going to stage. Turn RCS on. Then wait 2 seconds and end the program. And we're going to revert back to the editor. We're going to get the right bloody boot file in there. It is Albert1, so I'm really confused on this one now. The Albert1 boot file is this one. It has been saved. Okay. And this one should not have a boot file in it at all. Nope. And we should also make the root part U. No, 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 no. We should make the root part this avionics. There. Save that. Simulate. You stinker. All right, this is now making sense. Run Albert1. Good, good, good. Engage the autopilot. Shouldn't have to do anything. Do have to remember to turn that on in the VAB. Run Albert1. Go. So it's the staging right away. Wait till you're over 100. Like, get yourself out of the frickin' atmosphere. Get over that Kármán line. You're not quite out of the atmosphere at 100, but the atmosphere's bloody thin at that point. And that will probably help with all the stupid tumbling and crap. What happened there? Undefined variable name ship TWR. Okay, well, while this guy's doing its thing, let's figure out what that is about. So it's running here. And oh yeah, that's not a variable name. It needs brackets. So that means we gotta restart this. So that was a syntax error. Restart simulation. Okay, engage, run Albert1, go. So just to explain what happened there, I had written in the code, let's make sure this gets up. Here, I'll show it. So right here I had ship TWR without the brackets, and so what it's looking for when you don't have brackets is a variable name called ship TWR. There is no variable here called ship TWR. Putting the brackets on there tells it, oh, it's a function you're interested in. You want me to go over to where these launch functions are and find this ship TWR down here. So that's where that confusion came from. Hopefully that clears things up. Of course, there could be other confusions coming very soon. You know, there's no guarantees on any of this. And I'll only carry on with this for so long before, because this is still, we still got that 3,000 kilometer downrange rocket. Well, I want to do that. I want that guy to fly today in this episode. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on the rocket that's to come after that just yet. But it'd be nice to have this ready to just push into the building queue. Okay, that is cool. It's saying here, disengage McJeb. It is disengaged. It did it automatically. Okay, I'm going to trust you. We'll see what happens. So at 100 kilometers, we should start having... So let's just lose McJeb entirely then. Boom. You should be doing nothing. At 100 kilometers, it should be getting ready to stage. And then I'm going to put on RCS and S. Okay. Oh, it did that for me. Okay. Let's bring this down. That's not bad. Maybe not have it toggle on the RCS. Much better. And keep it around the horizontal. I think not having the RCS on would be a good plan. So now if I hit Z... Oh, it still does that. Okay. Ugh, I don't know if I want that, but it seems to want to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get over our 140... Well, this still says invalid situation. I guess you got to be in space. There it is. Now it's running. Okay. So what I want to do now is hit Z and then stage. And now we're running that. Okay, these motors turned off. That's good. I should still have some RCS control. I do. But it's just for attitude control, not for anything else. And again, we need to get to 1,200 meters per second, I believe, on the surface velocity. And that is now achieved. Cut engines. Now I'm going to try spinning this around on retrograde. How much nitrogen do I still have left? It's going through a lot right now. RCS off. And then RCS on. And then I'm going to H this. And the whole point of this maneuver is just to bleed off as much velocity as I can. Though I can see now it's not bleeding off too much. To try and ease poor Albert's re-entry. Unfortunately, this motor cannot be relit. Once you turn it off, it will not relight. It's got one ignition in it, and that's it. So that wouldn't have been an option, even though I cut it early and still had a bit of the fuel left in it. But that worked. That satisfied the contract. We can, this program has ended. What I want to do, I'm just noticing just some awkward, just the text is too clamped together there. So we are going to go to our Albert1 program here, and we're just going to print a blank line like so. What else do I want to do? Where else would I like to see? And also here after that program, and yeah, you know what? I don't need this line. That's it. And we'll also print a blank line after this. Okay. Blank. Okay, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Let's test our descent. But if that works, I'm going to call this. So we did collect a little bit of science. It's not going to be a whole lot, I'm sure, because you got to get over... I don't even think it's registering. I don't think I have even a registration of science here. So maybe maybe the thing to do is to burn it till it's done. I don't know. I want to save Albert some pain. I also want to put a smart. This opens, doesn't it? It does. See, we should do that to give Albert the view. So you don't get the science till you're over 140. Okay, let's stage. RCS can come off. SAS can come off because I have no more control. I just want to make sure the parachutes and the landing speed and all of that stuff, and then we'll looking at making this just a little bit prettier. Okay, here we come. It does pull G's though. Like, look at this G meter. That is 10 G's, 11, 12, 13, and then it calms down. No heat bars though, so I guess that's cool. What's really neat, if I had a stream, and I do maybe one day, I don't want to promise anything, get back to doing re-entry, but I love in the Mercury missions, in some of the earlier ones where you do the historical ones and you have the actual dialogue from the missions, the chatter from the missions. And as they're re-entering, much as Albert is doing here, and you're getting into those heavy Gs, one of the astronauts is reading off what the meter's saying, the gauge is saying, and you can just hear him like grunting, like 10, like 8 Gs, like that. It's pretty neat. I don't know if he gets up to 13. That's pretty extreme. Okay, parachutes are deploying. I never made any adjustments, but I don't think the mass of this should be all too different from what it was before. There's the full deployment. We should get down around 6 meters per second. By the time we're down to the surface, 6.5 right now. It'll decrease a little bit more. Yeah, it should be good. I think I'm happy with this. 6.3. We'll just make sure that nothing blows up upon re-entering. And then I think it's just going to be about making it prettier. I'm happy. I'm happy. Revert to the editor. Okay, let's pretty this thing up. And probably, I guess, do some tooling. So, first of all, in the avionics, no, all that doesn't matter, but this guy, we do want to get that started. Oh, I never did look at electricity. Shoot. Right now it's saying perpetual. Why? Because I'm hooked to this? Yeah, probably. Let's open this up. There we go. 13 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm suspecting it's okay. We did the whole thing. I never saw any messages come up. I think it's okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, we can close that. There we go. Okay. Actually, no. Open that up again. Let's take it away. Let's pretty this up. Now, I'm going to stay with the kind of black and white theme as well. This thing doesn't, you can't change the colors on that, so I don't want to clash with those colors. Oh, smart part. I want a smart part that will detect my altitude. Put that right behind here. And when we are at 100 kilometers, there we go, 100 kilometers. We want to probably action group 1. Do I have other things on action groups? I should really check this. Put this back. Action group 1, is it clear? It's clear. So on action group 1, I want to toggle the cover. Just like that. And I want you to do that in both directions. Do the auto reset and trigger not just ascent descent but on all. So that means when it crosses over 100 kilometers it should open the door, and then when it crosses 100 kilometers on the way down it should close the door. We're just going to hide that ugly smart part right in the center there, or center-ish. There we go. All right, let's pretty this a bit. So this is our avionics, and where is it where we get to decide what this thing looks like? There's so much information here. There's the coloring GUI, but what I'm more interested in is the textures. Where are they in all of this? Is it? It's not that. Nope. Plain metal. That's just the ends. I want the sides. Sides. There we go. Plain metal. Okay, there we go. I want to get kind of a. See if we can get some sort of checkerboard type of thing happening, kind of matching everything else. Okay, what can we do with this? This is much more visible. You know, that's not bad there. It just I just like it because of the shape of this, and it kind of follows that shape. So if we take this one then, I can't find it again. There it is, metal checkers. What works? Ooh. Oh, ah. Keep going with this. I can live with that. And then on this guy, we'll also have to pick. Could go really boring like that. A little more exciting. Okay, I kind of let's just see what we can get. So we'll take this. We got to open up the coloring GUI. We've got to go to the sides, and I know that this is the stock white color. I've gotten used to that. So stock white on the sides, and then I like the metallic black for the secondary color. We'll do that all the way down. And stock white, and secondary color is metallic black. I think I'm clicking on it. Yep. And then this bottom one is stock white. Color stock white, secondary color metallic black. Okay, got a little bit of a spaceship action happening there. We do have this funky ring down here on the bottom, and I'm thinking, like there's not much to it. Clearly overthinking it, though. Let's go back. Back. Just like some simple... I mean, that matches up nice with the stripes that are already there, but it's getting too fancy. Rockets shouldn't be that fancy. Let's just do that one. So again, open up the coloring GUI. Did I hit it? There it is. On not sure if that's the old one. There we go. That is stock white. And that is metallic black. Close. Okay, and then we got the fairings. Now, I am honestly considering, because I've got these are still steel fairings, but I am very close to I don't know why the highlighting's being funny like that. There we go. I'm very close to getting the I can get this out. Aluminum fairings. You know what? Let's just go with these. We'll go with steel. What the heck? Let's not get too silly. Okay, so these are recolorable. So we'll go through some patterns here. Honestly, I think that's really good enough, isn't it? I don't need to be too. Oh, we got that. Oh, look at that. That looks lovely. Lovely dovely. I like it. Open the coloring GUI. Just make that black. Again, stock white. And this is the metallic black. Okay, and we do have a healthy amount of tooling to do. Because all of this up here has not been tooled, and I think I'm just going to have to kind of go for it. So let's save that. It's opening up our tooling menu. So here we go. So it's, oh, those frickin' fairings. They cost so much. The rest of it's not so bad. Well, no, there's some hard. So there's new avionics. There's a new fuel tank. Procedural, yeah, there's... That's why I got rid of the fairings on the other rocket, because I just sat there and went... You know, I just got cheap. But... Does it say... What are my total... Doesn't it say total tooling costs here somewhere? I have 15. Let's just tool it. What do we got? Total tooling costs. Tooling for all untooled parts will cost $15,573, which is more than I got. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be selective with my tooling for now. And I'm not tooling those fairings. So let's tool... Well, then again... let's preview the tooling. If I preview the tooling, it's the build time. Build time is now 389, and it comes down to what? Yeah, it's so. Let's tool this one at a time and see if I can bring this down. So if I tool first the nose cone, tool that tank. Yep. Okay. And I will tool. I'm avoiding the fairings. I will tool this avionics package. Okay. And I will tool this tank here. And if we open this up, there's also this tank here that can be tooled. Okay, and that just leaves the fairings. Now the only thing I've not tooled are the fairings. I might just wait till I have more money. Close. Okay, so I could also get cheap like I did with the other rocket and not have the fairings, but they just look so good. Okay, so if I look over here now, I've got the integration time to 267 days. If I do the tooling, preview, yeah, right here, it comes down to 152 days. So well over 100 days are saved, and of course the cost comes down. But it's really the saving time. But right now, I still don't think I can afford that tooling. Tool all. Oh. How did that... Oh, it's unlock credit. I'm getting the toolings for free. I got it in the unlock. Oh my god. I don't have to spend my money on the tooling. Never mind. I'm a complete McDuberhead. Okay. Never mind. I keep forgetting about the credits for that. Alright, now it's all tooled. We're going to push it into our queue. And I do have to spend a little bit of money for those RCS blocks and the advanced biological capsule itself. Again, though, they're just covered with credits, so I don't really spend any money. Oh, I did spend money that time. I really don't understand how this works. Anyway, did I start this? This is waiting, yes. Okay, I think it's good. So let's save that. Let's get out of here. Okay, so we have the 3000 downrange one coming up in early January, and then we got the Albert one predicted for next June. But looking at the time of this video, they are now going to have to wait until next episode. In the meantime, we've got a lot of science coming, so we'll time warp through that while keeping an eye on our budget. My budget is feeling very healthy. Staff, I should have... Oh, my V2 launch complex now can take up to 99 engineers. I'm thinking I'm feeling fairly comfortable doing that. So let's hire us some more engineers. So let's hire, because my surplus of $101.4 and I still got over 13 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's put them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still feeling pretty good. Let's get it up to an even 90 engineers. And now we'll hire some researchers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four, 5. And I'm chickening out, but I'm going to do 5 more, and then I'm chickening out. So our balance is 54, down to $5,875. Okay, that's cool. All right. All right, I'm good with that. Good with that. Turn that off. Okay, let's do some time warping. So we've got 2 science nodes coming up very quickly here. So let's get those. So first is going to be early materials science. It's mentioned earlier that one of the things that does is gets me aluminum stringer tanks. It also had, I'm pretty sure it was this one, an engineer efficiency upgrade. So my engineers are going to be working faster. Got some extra decouplers. These are the stock decouplers I'm just noticing, and the aluminum fairings and string. So I can make lighter fairings now. So that's cool. Next coming up is solid rocket motors. Now, I do want to check very quickly here. No, you get stuff, basic rocketry. That's what's going to get me some stuff. Okay, I'm all good here. Oh, what happened to our leader? Whoa, why do we got no leader? I don't know what happened there. I know I picked a leader earlier. What? Okay, let's just check really quick. So Vladimir here, minus 15% confidence cost for program activation. So that's a good thing. Less confidence to activate a program, though I got so much confidence it doesn't matter. Launch complex efficiency gain, minus 7% reputation from contracts. We got Valentin, who I'm pretty sure is the one I got, minus 15% fund cost for researcher salaries, plus 5% reputation from contracts. Plus 10% reputation to remove an exist. So cost more reputation when you fire somebody. Minus 12% funds for salary costs. Plus 5% reputation from contracts. I like that. Minus 5% funds from program funding. Milton. Speed of research on all technologies increased 10%. Confidence from science. Okay, so from collecting science, you get more confidence. Minus 20% time on program deadlines. I don't think I'm really struggling for that at all. And minus 20% funds from program funds. I don't like that idea. Werner von Braun. More confidence from contracts, more reputation from contracts, more reputation loss from reputation decay, and satish, plus 50% science from transmitting, minus 50% reputation loss from reputation decay, and minus 8% funds from... I don't like the ones that knock down your program funding. I really don't. Because I like my program funding. Let's get Valentin. I'm pretty sure I had him before. Yeah, confirm. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Maybe I pushed something bad. That was weird. Okay. Anyway, on to more time warping. Coming up next is basic solid rocket engines. So basic solid rocket engines. Where's that one? There it is. So that's going to get me the Aerojet 1.8K 7800. It's clearly an improvement over the Aerojet, small Aerojet booster I was just using. And the Nike M5E1. So small kind of boosters, similar to what you've been seeing me use before. Not a big deal. And yeah, let's get out of here. Let's time warp to the completion of that. Okay, that is done. Now, I do have 15.2 science, and, you know, why don't we just quickly go in here and see, now that we've got some more. Now, I do plan on getting into the jet program fairly soon. I'm looking at, these are better jet engines, improvements on old jet engines. Oh, I can't unlock that yet. Let's wait until the supersonic flight one is done. I could queue it up. We have basic rocketry. That gets me something I can do in the administration building, more contractors. So these are some really nice... I remember using this for an orbital sustainer engine, the Centaur. Some very nice engines. Veronique upgrades. Okay, that is definitely something. That cost me 4 more SRBs. These baby sergeants are actually can be used in really fun orbital rockets that were actually really used. Solar panels. I don't think that... Oh, satellite... Okay, this is for early satellites. Researcher efficiency, though, is nice. What's... Oh, way down here. Early science. Oh, I got that, silly Billy. So why don't we... I think staying away from that for now. I think this is a good one. I got 15. So let's start researching that. Let's start researching mature supersonic flight. I'm just trying to get a head start on these SRBs too. I can get 2 more. I think I'll stay away from that. Yeah. Let's get that, and we'll order these and this one. Okay, so looking at this now, let's see. Research, there we go. We can start ordering these. So supersonic flight, still not going to get to that for a while. Basic rocketry, kind of want to push that one up. And satellite era material science looks good. I think that's good. Let's get that ahead of supersonic flight. And let's get this one ahead of supersonic flight. This takes advantage of the rubber banding that's going to happen here, but we'll see. I could... I might play with this more later. What's avionics prototype? That's coming up too. There it is. That's what's coming up. Oh, improvements on the avionics cores, of course. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's probably a good one to go. Basic rocketry. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And with that, I am going to be drawing this episode to a close. Sorry, no missions on this one, but we will be starting with missions right off the bat next episode. I hope to see you then.